everybody! I'm here today with an easy driving lesson on turning a car. I will specifically be going over how to correct yourself when turning a car. So sometimes when you're driving and you're going to be turning right or left, you're going to need to correct yourself because you didn't do it properly. This happens even when you have been driving for 50 years. It just happens sometimes. So I'm going to go over 6 ways that you can correct yourself when turning a car. And I'll be demonstrating as I'm driving throughout multiple turns on the road. So number 1, if you steer too much, you want to let go of the steering wheel a bit earlier if possible. So for instance, I'm going to go and exit this parking lot. Actually, I'll demonstrate right here. So let's just reverse back over here. Let's say I steered too much, okay? When I was making a turn, you can just let go of the wheel a bit earlier than you had planned. So let's say I'm turning right here. Okay, I'm going to make a right turn. Signal, check my mirrors, check my blind spot. I steer the wheel. I'm purposely turning way too much, right? Or I turn too much, let go a little bit early. And you can control the wheel by like grabbing it a second or two before it stops turning. But if you steer too much, let go of the wheel a bit early. It's going to correct the error. Basically, it's just going to correct what you did wrong, okay? You're doing the opposite of what you did. So you steered too much, now you're letting go early. Very simple. Number 2, if you steer too little, then steer more and hold the wheel for a little bit longer. So for instance, as I'm going to make this turn right here out of this parking lot, I'm going to make sure that I steer too little. So I'm going to signal. Okay, as I come to a stop, I'm going to check. Well, this guy's reversing. Sure, go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead. Be my guest. No problem. So basically, I'm going to steer too little on purpose. And then when I steer too little, I'm going to make sure that in order to correct it, I turn the wheel more. So I crank the wheel more, and then I basically hold it for a little bit longer. So checking my mirrors, my blind spot, I'm ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to steer too little. Oh, I'm going to the other lane. Steer more, hold the wheel longer, and release. And now I can correct like that. So you're just doing the opposite, essentially, of what you did wrong, okay? Number 3 is if I approach the turn too fast. And obviously this is, let's say, if I don't have a stop sign. Because if you have a stop sign, then you're likely going to hopefully you're going to have to stop. If you approach the turn a little too fast, then what you can do is you can slow down. Okay, so you can slow down earlier. Now there's a stop sign up there, so I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to go through a turn. I'll probably try turning into a driveway, approaching it a little too fast. Then I'll slow down to correct it. So if you approach a turn too fast, let's say your speed is too high when you're approaching a turn, slow down during the turn. Obviously, you want to try and slow down before the turn if possible. But if you approach it too fast, then that's out of the question. So let's say I'm trying to turn into this driveway. I'm approaching it too quickly, right? Whoa! Slow down mid-turn. Okay. That's what you got to do. Slow down mid-turn if you have to. Okay? I'm sitting in someone's driveway right now. I'm going to get out of there. But let's go over number 4. If you approach the turn too slowly, then speed up a little bit during the turn. Now, I don't mean accelerate like floor it. I mean like gradually speed up during the turn. So let's say I'm not going to go through the stop sign. I'm stopping here. But let's say that I approach a turn too slowly. There's one up here without a stop sign. I know this area very, very well. It's very near and dear to my heart. So anyways, that aside, this is random, I know. Let's say I approach this turn too slowly coming up. Then you want to gradually go onto the gas pedal. So let's say I'm approaching too slowly, checking my mirrors, my blind spot, too slowly. So now I'm going to accelerate mid-turn, okay? Ideally, you want to be accelerating after the turn, but that's assuming that you are at the correct speed during the turn. If you're going too slowly, you can accelerate gradually mid-turn. Number 5 is if you forgot to signal, put your signal on mid-turn. So let's say I'm driving over here and I forgot to signal, okay? I'm going to go through this turn right over here. Let's say I'm turning. Oh, I forgot to signal. Put the signal on just like that, mid-turn, okay? I'm just going to go to the side here because this little boy learning how to ride a bike. Just going to let him obviously have the road to himself. This is a court anyways. It's not like a huge street. It's just a court. So he probably assumed there was going to be no cars driving down here. If you forgot to signal, put your signal on mid-turn. That was number 5. Okay, number 6 is if you have a bad starting position, correct it mid-turn. So let's turn around, make sure we're all clear of that person learning to ride the bike. Let's say I start too far to the left, then I'm going to have to loosen up my turn. Let's say I start too far to the right, I'm going to have to tighten up my turn. I'm going to go nice and slowly around here. So let's say I go to this turn over here, and I'm starting this turn too far to the right. Okay, so I'm going too far to the outside of the turn. I'm gonna turn left, but I'm starting too far to the right, okay? What I'm gonna have to do is as I drive, let's make sure we're clear. As I drive, I'm gonna have to tighten up that turn. So you saw that extra little crank of the wheel? That was me tightening up the turn, okay? Now let's say I'm turning right over here, okay? And I'm starting too far to the right, so I'm too tight on the turn, okay? So I'm turning right, I'm starting too far to the right on the road. As I turn, I loosen up the wheel. So as you saw, I released the wheel a little bit. That helps out the situation. That's it. That is essentially 6 ways. Those are essentially, I should say, 6 ways to correct yourself when turning a car. Listen, doesn't matter how long you've been driving for, okay? If you're driving a car, you're not going to be perfect. You're going to make errors and mistakes mid-turn and before turning and after turning. It's just the way that it works. So that being said, that's how to correct yourself. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.